Hey guys, welcome back to Video Hits. Fuzzy here, hanging out with Coldplay this morning. Will and Guy, welcome back to the show.
Thank you, thanks for having us.
Now, how's everything been in this tour? Nothing but smiles?
Pretty good so far, I have to say. Yeah, I think we look forward to coming to Australia, and especially at this time of year. You know, it's a nice kind of change from the grey and nastiness of London. So
It's pretty grey.
it is grey today, unfortunately, but still.
You've been taking the weather with you, haven't you?
Yeah, everywhere we go.
I got the chance to see your gig over in Melbourne,
Oh,
and I have to say, yeah, it was fantastic. The production value was just incredible. Like, how many meetings did it take for you to actually get that into a cohesive operation?
I think that it did take a while, but the main aim of the show is to try and make these big, kind of quite unfriendly arenas feel small and intimate and like a, you know, to try and connect to as many people as possible. So, yeah, I mean, we also didn't want anything that's too. Often you see shows that are incredibly, you know, that obviously there's been a lot spent on technology, but sometimes it kind of just overtakes the band a little bit, and so we wanted everything to feel, you know, warm and have a slight feeling of kind of homemadeness and not too slick. So it's quite a fine balance, you know, getting all that in. But no, it's turning out really well, and I think now it's taken a while to get to the point where it's really running well. You know, it always takes a few shows where things go a bit wrong. You get the set a little bit wrong, or some visual things don't work. So, you know, it's at a good place at the moment.
Have you ever gotten any other inspiration from other live performances you've seen in the past that have been implemented in this one?
Well, without, you know, got to be a little bit careful about what we say.
No. Inspiration.
Inspiration. Well, I think,
Not rip-offs.
Obviously, there's, you know, we've seen big shows being put on before, and shows which are really sort of all-encompassing, and, you know, you two have always been, you know, great at putting on shows, and we've always loved, you know, watching the Flaming Lips play live. You know, they've always got great kind of, like, every song has a kind of, you know, a look. So we thought that was a really interesting way, because it sort of, instead of it just being one song sort of flowing into the other, you've got like moments, you know, that happen. So we've kind of we've taken ideas from lots of different people. I mean, but we've come up with a few of our own as well. So I think it's a good balance between you know, our ideas and inspiration from other people's shows.
Nice one. Now, throughout the whole show, we're going to be taking a look at Coldplay clips. Right now, I just want a request of yours. Favourite video from the Parachutes album?
It would have to be Yellow, really.
Really?
Yeah, just because it was the first proper video that we'd done. We did one for Shiver, but I think the Yellow one was I don't know. It's the most kind of. It ended up being the kind of the most straightforward and the cheapest and the, you know, the most simple, but I think it's probably the most effective one.
Still your most favourite video to date?
Of that album, certainly. Yeah.
And we didn't have to be in it, which is always a bonus as well.
Yeah.
I like we did an animated video for a song called Don't Panic, which again was, you know, we didn't sort of have to be in it, so you can judge it with a bit more objectivity. Because, you know, videos are strange for us because, you know, it's something that you have to do. It's something that we were never really interested in doing, but you just, you know, you have to do it. So
part of it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, right now let's take a look at Yellow, and we'll be back with Coldplay very, very soon. Hey guys, welcome back to Video Hits. Fuzzy here, hanging out with Will and Guy from Coldplay this morning. Now, you're out here for the Viva La Vida tour, and one thing that I noticed, which was quite prominent when I came into the gig, was the presence of Oxfam. Are they on board throughout the entire tour, wherever you go, anywhere around the world?
Yeah, they have been, really. Our relationship with them started with the kind of the campaign to make trade fair. Which we got heavily involved in the, you know, from the last record, and they're someone they're an organisation that we you know, that we try and help as much as we can, and you know, as much as we're not necessarily the right people to ask questions about the specifics of what they do and how they help. We're good at kind of giving them a platform to do it for themselves. So we make sure that there's someone with us who can be at the doors and, you know, handing out flyers or whatever. So yeah, it's a small gesture for us, but it means a big deal to a charity like Oxfam, who can really make a positive change.
I remember seeing an interview prior to your Viva La Vida tour. You wanted to see if you could make your carbon footprint a lot smaller while touring around the world. Has it been effective in any way?
Well, I think we tried to use, you know, any sort of technology available to kind of reduce it. I mean, we've done it things like that with making albums before, where, you know, however much CO2 is used in manufacturing the albums, you know, we can sort of give a certain percentage of the you know, the money from the album into kind of like going back into planting trees. So you can kind of neutralize it that way. I mean, it's harder when you're touring, because of course you've got lots of trucks and aeroplanes and stuff to get around, so it is difficult, but I'm not quite sure where we're at with that. I think we're trying to use biodiesel fuel, and
the trucks are in that, but it's all it's quite an eco-hostile industry, touring, and, you know, music in general. So it takes quite a while to affect any kind of change. So bit by bit, I think we're trying to sort things out, and we're trying to work with a couple of big companies in order to, you know, to get kind of greener touring, you know, more established. So there's a viable option if you want to do that. You know, you should be able to. So step by step.
Well, right now we're going to take a look at a video from A Rush of Blood to the Head album.
Okay.
What's going to be the decision here?
Oof.
There's so many.
In My Place, Scientist, Clocks.
God Put a Smile.
God Put a Smile.
Oh, that's with Paddy.
Yeah, Paddy
Yeah, it's got
Considine. Who is it? Yeah, the guy who's in the God Put a Smile on Your Face video is, I don't know how we managed to land him in it, because he's gone on, or at the time had just started to become, and now since has gone on to be one of Britain's finest actors, and he's a guy called Paddy Considine. You might recognise him, but yeah, that would probably be, just for the sheer factor of he's one of the best actors we've got, and he's in one of our videos, so it would have to be that one.
Yes, super cool factor right here. Well, we'll be back with Coldplay very, very soon. Hey guys, welcome back to Video Hits. Fuzzy here, hanging out with Guy and Will from Coldplay. Now, Guy, I read a fact about you. Are you actually a marathon runner?
Well, funny you should say that. I did it last year. I did the London Marathon last year, and I've been training for it here in Australia. But I've done something to my hip.
Is that why you were laughing? Well,
it was, because up until yesterday he had plans to do the marathon again, but sadly.
And I will say this on TV for everyone else: if you get a new pair of trainers, don't take them out of the box, put them on and run for 14 miles. Because I got the wrong trainers, and basically I've totally ruined my hip, which is now taking me out of this year's marathon. So
when were you supposed to run that marathon?
End of April.
Oh, this is just around the corner.
I know.
Bummer. All that training.
I know.
Gone to waste.
I was about halfway through the training, so I was supposed to be doing a 16-mile run yesterday, but sadly it's not meant to be.
Oh well. Can you still do other sports? Because I noticed that you guys have been playing a bit of cricket.
Yeah, the cricket here and there, and football. Yeah, we try and keep active, definitely.
Who's the best batsman in Coldplay?
Batsman, well, actually that'd be Phil Harvey, our kind of fifth member.
Your secret member.
Yeah, and Chris would be the most potent bowler, I would say.
Really?
Yeah.
What's he good at?
Very
Spin?
fast.
Fast.
Yeah, he steams in, absolutely.
Have you been watching the test while you've been here?
Well, England are playing the West Indies at the moment, and obviously Australia are playing South Africa. So there's a lot going. There's a lot of cricket on telly, that's for sure, which is great.
It's good for the downtime.
Yeah, indeed.
Well, right now, let's take a look at a favourite video from the X and Y album. Speed of Sound, Fix You, Talk, The Hardest Part. Too many to pick from.
Do you want us to choose?
Yeah.
Well, we did. I think the video for The Hardest Part is quite an interesting story, because it was used with this footage from an American daytime TV show from the early 80s, and it's this old lady who was in her 90s, and she was this incredible sort of almost like, what's the word, like a sort of a trapeze dancer,
acrobat.
Yeah.
And then we kind of spliced in our performance, and so it looks as if it was all kind of shot at the same time, and I just can't believe that you know, she was doing some of those moves that she was doing. So I think for that reason, that would be my choice.
Yeah. When you guys got that pitch, though, were you thinking that's a pretty far out there idea?
No, well,
you
it
weren't
was
really
actually
calling
a
it?
friend. It was a friend of a friend who suggested it because they remember seeing this footage when they were young. Of this crazy dance partnership on daytime telly, and we went and we thought it'd be a bit of fun just to try it. And we went and it was the same place as well. We filmed it in the same place that they filmed it.
Was it the same place?
Yeah, and it was just the whole thing was a really interesting experiment, and it turned out to be quite humorous, and it was good. It was a lot of fun to film.
Let's take a look at the hardest part right now, and we'll be back with Coldplay very, very soon. Hey guys, welcome back to Video Hits. Fuzzy here, hanging out with Guy and Will from Coldplay. Now guys, you're about to head off to your very, very last show, because this is a Sunday. And it's sad to see you go, because you're off on, to so many more countries, to almost the end of the year.
Yeah.
I know, and it's funny to think that when we were making this record, we actually decided we weren't going to tour at all. So
Really?
it went from being that to literally
Being
touring almost every week for over a year, if not probably 2 years. So yeah, we've had a great time in Australia. The Will was doing, the crowds have been just some of the best ever. So we're very sad to be leaving.
Yeah. Is it true that you're working on new material right now while you're touring?
Well, it never really stops. You can't. We have time, during sound checks to play new songs, and there's always something going on. There's always something kind of brewing, but we're not really sure what is going to happen really in the next few years. We want to keep writing music, obviously, but in terms of just how it's going to, how it'll be presented or whatever. There's nothing specific in mind yet. We're just happy to still have the ability to write songs. So.
I mean, what comes after Brian Eno, though? Who would you pick next to help produce your record?
Brian Eno again.
We have been working with Brian actually.
Yeah.
A few weeks ago, we went in and we started a new session with him. So we're hoping to continue working with him for a while. But like you say, that's a pretty tall order to follow. Someone with as much experience and as many albums under his belt that he has.
All right. Well, finally, can you take a pic of your favourite music video off this record that you've made so far?
It's on there, I've forgotten.
Life in Technicolor 2.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's not on that record, though, is it?
Well,
Technically.
I've
So
got
it's
that
gonna
one.
be
Here we go.
Probably.
Off this one, then.
Oh, okay. The deluxe version. I would say.
Viva La Vida. Love is in Japan.
That's a good video.
It's a tricky one, isn't it?
I would say it's got to be the puppets, though. For
Yeah.
Novelty factor.
Let's do Life
From
in
the
Technicolor
from
2.
the yes from
You
the deluxe
do you like your
version.
puppets? Because you take them on tour with you.
They're great.
I got a pretty raw end of the deal though.
Yeah, yours wasn't particularly flattering.
Really?
Mine was more based on the original way that I think Mr. Punch looks. So I kind of look a bit strange.
Okay, well, I have to pay a bit more attention right now. But thank you so much, Guy and Will
You're welcome.
from Coldplay.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Take care.